Trump takes aim at progressives, and Democrats still don't get it. Let's talk about it, Middle America, y'all. Well, I've been gone for a while. We have been doing the live streams, but the political commentary is necessary, right? And we're coming into election season, and Donald J. Trump is the president of the United States of America. And so every channel that does political commentary has more than enough fodder to feast on. Now, I woke up today as a regular American who loves my country, just minding my own business. And lo and behold, I see from CNN that Donald J. Trump told AOC and her friends to go back to their country. Now, I couldn't believe this because as anybody who's ever dealt with, not as progressive white folk, that's kind of always been in the back pocket. If you don't like it, why don't you go back to your country? Of course, when I was a kid, I immigrated from Jamaica. When I was a kid, it didn't even have to be in the midst of a conflict. They would just tell you, go back to your country. Extremely racist, hypocritical thing to say for a country that was built on immigrants, as well as, and when I say immigrants, I mean European immigrants that came here and massacred the natives that actually belong here. You know, so it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the little meme with the Native American looking at the colonialist and telling them to go back to their, country. It's kind of funny. But be that as it may, that phrase is kind of used, stereotypically by, white, old school, ignorant, people. And so when I woke up this morning and I saw that, I said, there's no way that Trump said that. And I was like, well, maybe he did. So here is what Trump said in all of its glory. So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all, now loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from whence they came? Then come back and show us how. It's done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I am sure that Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work on free travel arrangements, ! End quote. Now, of course, this is a colossally ignorant thing to say, considering the fact that 3 of the 4, I'm assuming he's going after AOC as the big fish, and Ilhan Omar, etc. But 3 of the 4 ladies who he's going after were born and raised in the US of A. So here's what AOC says in response, obviously. Mr. President, the country I come from and the country we all swear to is the United States. You're angry because you can't conceive of an America that includes us. You rely on a frightened America for your plunder. Well, yeah, he does. Donald J. Trump relies on an entire demographic of Americans who are tired of the overcorrection that happened during the Obama administration as far as ideologically speaking and the rest of it. They were alienated. They were told that their concerns didn't matter. They were told that if they questioned anything that they were racist and homophobic and transphobic and Islamophobic, etc. And these people were told to shut up and not have a voice. They were told that if they had any security concerns, they were xenophobic and hated people. They were told all manner of things by the left. And then Donald Trump arose and vocalized in public and without apology. See, that's the main thing. Donald Trump didn't apologize for any of his ideology. And that appealed to a massive group of people in this country, and that's how he won the election. And what's amazing to me is that, you know, CNN, leftist outlets, all my leftist friends are posting this, not realizing that Donald J. Trump actually told them the cheat code for how he's going to win the election in the tweets. Why do you think... See, this is the thing that gets me about people. And it happens on both sides. People that say AOC is an idiot and she's stupid, they make all these memes about her. Okay, you go and be a congressman or a congresswoman. Let me see you do it. It's extremely difficult, and you have got to have some level of street smarts, intuition, I don't care what you want to call it. You've got to be an intelligent person to play the Game of Thrones game that is power in the United States of America. So anybody that gets to that level has my respect. Not necessarily that I like he or she, but I recognize the fact that whether or not I agree with a person, you have to respect the fact that they're in the position that they're in. Now, what did Donald Trump do as far as the cheat code goes? It's right there. Notice how he mentions Nancy Pelosi. Now, why would Mr. Trump mention Miss Pelosi? Well, I don't know. Maybe this is from NPR. This was from 2 days ago. So what happens is you've got Justice Democrats like AOC is kind of the figurehead. You've got Ilhan Omar, right? And they're representative of the young, new, energy, progressive edge of the Democratic Party that really kind of formed after 2016. And then you've got Pelosi, who's old guard, moderate Republican, hey, let's not get too crazy. And they passed a bill that completely ignored what the progressive wanted on the bill, didn't even give them a nod. Pelosi tried to downplay the conflict Thursday and urge her members to stay out of the fray. We respect the value of every member of our caucus. But a day earlier, one of the four, AOC herself, made it personal, suggesting in an interview with the Washington Post that Pelosi was deliberately targeting the four because of their race. When these comments, I'm quoting AOC now, when these comments first started, I kind of thought she was keeping the progressive flank at more of an arm's distance in order to protect more moderate members, which I understood, she told the Post. But the persistent singling out, it got to a point where it was just outright disrespectful, the explicit singling out of a newly elected woman of color. Sorry, singling out of newly elected women of color, end quote. So AOC is implying, not so subtly, that Nancy Pelosi is a racist. And then her chief of staff argued on Twitter. Again, this is according to NPR. This is NPR. This is not Fox News. The fight escalated when the chief of staff to Ocasio-Cortez compared moderates to segregationists in a tweet that has since been deleted. The tweet suggested that two moderate groups, the Blue Dogs and the New Democrats, be called New Southern Democrats, a group of Democrats who once supported segregation. So what he's saying is we all know that the Democratic Party was infested with racists for much of its history. And during the time of segregation, you had moderate segregationists who were like, well, let's be a little bit nicer to the colors, but I mean, I'm not talking about letting them drink from your water fountain. I mean, can't we find a middle way? And AOC's chief of staff is comparing the current Democratic establishment led by Nancy Pelosi to those racist Democrats during the segregation period. So now let's go full circle. Donald J. Trump has basically unified the Republican Party. I mean, think about this. Not a day ago, 22 hours ago, Trump posts he's got a 94% approval rating in the Republican Party. That's at an all-time high. Ronald Reagan, think about this, was at 87%. Ronald Reagan, who got reelected easily, was at 87%. Why is this important? Well, we know why it's important. Mr. Trump just posted a 94% approval rating in the Republican Party, all-time high. Look, the man has unified the Republican Party. I'm not saying the Republicans like him. I'm not saying they love him. I'm not saying that they don't hate him. But what I am saying is they're all in line with him They're all marching with him, and they all have the same message. It's about immigration. It's about making sure that we don't get Medicare for all. And it's about making sure that the economy keeps booming. That's the platform. They all know it, and they're all in lockstep. Meanwhile, the Democrats are firing shots at each other, calling each other racists out in the public forum, using public forums like Twitter and public forums like the New York Post, etc., to blast each other. They're not unified, they're fractured, they're divided, and when Trump tells them all to go back to their country, he tells the progressives to go back to their country, and then he tells Pelosi, who's the figurehead of non-progressive Democrat ideology in America, that she'll pay for the tickets. What do you think's going on there? You can underestimate Trump all you want, but he's absolutely brilliant. Trump knows that the only people that would be enraged by such a statement are people that would not vote for him anyway. And Trump knows that putting something like this out in the ether is going to get him attention, and it's going to make him look like he's America first to marginalized white people. And they're going to love him all the more, and they're going to say, look, he's not selling out. Because, politicians usually start selling out when they're up for re-election, and Trump is just as Trump as ever. But make no mistake, and the crazy thing is CNN, all the leftist outlets, they all fell for the bait. Because guess what? Now we're all talking about Trump, and we're also talking about the fracture between Pelosi and Justice Democrats and progressives. So who's winning in this situation? It's mind-boggling to me that people on the left still haven't learned the lesson as to why they lost in 2016. This is why you lost. It's because of the pearl grabbing. Oh my gosh, he told them to go back to their country. White folk have been saying that for decades. and hello, the outrage convoy has long since passed. It was gone since 2016. Hello, Democrats. You are not. It doesn't look. Look. If Trump comes out in the Epstein report, it won't matter. People who support Trump do not care about any of this stuff. Hello, this is Donald grab him by the junk Trump. Do you think this is going to hurt him? Honestly, this is going to help him. This helps him because he understands his constituency inside and out. But leftists still haven't understood that nobody really cares about this outrage stuff. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if what he said sounded slightly racist and regressive. Nobody cares. What is important, though, as somebody who's a swing voter, is do you guys have a unified ideology? You don't. You don't. You're out there fighting with each other in public, on Twitter. Hello, have you never heard about not airing out your dirty laundry in public? So again, my hats are off to Donald J. Trump. By playing the idiot, he's outsmarting everyone. Because this is a calculated move on his part to gin up his base, to signal to his base that he's going to run on the same platform, while simultaneously pointing out the divide between progressive Democrats and establishment Democrats. And as it stands right now, it looks like Joe Biden is going to be the guy. And I don't care what the polls say. Joe Biden is not going to beat Donald J. Trump. He's not. Because Joe Biden is in the line of Hillary Clinton and all the rest of the establishment Democrats. And those guys don't have the energy or the pull from all the young voters like myself and others. Good night. Well, score one for Mr. Trump. And look, I'm not, I find it funny because 3 of the 4 people that he's telling to get out of the country are from this country. I'm not supporting his attitude. Middle America doesn't support that attitude. I'm just talking about the chess game that Trump is playing while everybody else is playing checkers. That's the issue. Trump is playing chess while everybody's playing checkers because they assume he's playing tic-tac-toe. You're wrong. He's brilliant, and he knows exactly what he's doing, and until the Democratic Party wakes up and takes Trump seriously, they're never ever going to get back power in the White House. And look, the only positive as a person who loves life is that I don't believe Ruth Bader Ginsburg has 6 more years left in the Supreme Court post. She doesn't. And so this re-election is going to be vastly important, and I don't see how Democrats are going to get this together within a year, because right now it's looking pretty bleak. All right, well, love your neighbor, take care of each other, Middle America. We are the media. Till next time, guys.